Hey, good evening, everybody. Good evening for this evening of wholeness. Can you hear me well? Good. So, the wholeness in us greets the wholeness in you. So this must be one of the most self-evident of the qualities of true nature, especially if we're calling them non-dual, because non-dual is all about oneness. Oneness is wholeness. What's even the difference between unity, wholeness, non-duality, oneness? But there is a difference. There's literally a difference in the vibrational felt sense when something is holistic. When we look at the body, for example, and we feel what that word evokes, the wholeness of the body. Inside, outside, left, right, behind, in front, within the cells, the skin surface. If we go to the doctor, then of course we would want a holistic doctor because it's so clear that it is existing within this field of wholeness. That everything's talking to everything else, that everything's depending on everything else, that everything is an expression of everything else. In fact, it has been said by certain Zen schools that the one thing you can say about anything is that it's everything except itself. That's how strongly dependent it is on the whole. Georgi can be defined by everything which is not Georgi. Everything else is what defines me. All of that put together from the whole universe is what creates this appearance. The only thing you won't find is a separate, independent, isolated thing called Georgi, existing in isolation. And it's the same for any one of you. Now, wholeness is so much part of our true nature that the drive towards wholeness, meaning the drive to realize this wholeness, to heal, to make whole, to bring our consciousness into alignment with the dimension through which it's clear that every little fragmented piece of our personality, every moment from our past, every moment from our future, every moment of our experience, all of this is existing within one whole field of experience. This is very, very, very strong. And yet we're so much inculcated with beliefs in being separate and divided, of being a separate fragment, randomly scattered across a great absent universe of absence. in a kind of universal chaos without a center. We're so much conditioned into the kind of religion of division, of believing that because something is divided, because I am divided from you, that there can never be wholeness. Because my left hand is divided from my right hand, meaning there's a space between it, the two can never exist in wholeness. Because male appears as different, somewhat, from female. All wholeness is lost. Now, this is really a primary illusion. It's saying you cannot have one without the other. I mean, you cannot have one and the other. It's this or that. Duality. Meaning you're either a female, not that anyone tells you what that is, or you're a male, whatever that is. So from the very, very beginning, if your mother had an ultrasound, or from the moment you were born and your gender was identified, you became a fragment of a whole. You became not male or not female. You became a division. And this estrangement from the whole begins, and this alienation from wholeness begins in this appearance of what seems to be other, meaning the opposite gender. Oh, she's a little girl. What a truckload of identity this delivers to an innocent child. And she's not even born yet.
So Georgie is coming back. I let her in the moment that she's coming back. So if it's okay, we wait a few minutes. Yay, there she is. Ah.
And just like that, we were fragmented from the whole. I think that Bill Gates or one of these punters was like not agreeing with what was cooking here. And they saw what's coming. If it's not going to be some kind of holistic medicine, then it could be something about gender fluidity. And if it's not that, it could be something quite radical about a message of global unity, regardless of countries. But I don't actually believe for a moment that was anything other than an automatic upgrade of Windows. Anyway, we were with the little girl who has been labeled a little girl, and in that moment has a whole load of projections of what female is transmitted towards her. The weaker sex, the nurturer, the one that must surely get married because she can never be whole if she doesn't get married. And maybe if we're very advanced, she can also have a job, and then that will also make her whole. And she must also have children if she's going to be whole. And it's not so different with the male. I mean, it is different, but it's the same truckload of projections, just a different flavor that comes when you're labeled as a male. You know, men don't have feelings. Men can't do two things at once. Men are a bit stupid. You know, like basically women are the power behind the throne. Men are a bit like easy to manipulate. I mean, all of that is going on as well. Horrible, like battleground, psycho warfare going on just with these silly labels. And then there is a baby, which is you or me. A human expression of consciousness. And if we were to go inside ourselves, or even outside ourselves, but especially inside ourselves, how far do we need to go inside our inner world before we lose gender altogether? Before it becomes more a matter of movement, sensation, awareness, patterns of experience? Now, it has been tried through all of our major religions to make a kind of spiritual version of female and a spiritual version of male. So men can be priests and run churches and can be rabbis and can speak and can lay down religious law, and women should be quiet. As if there's a female soul and a male soul, in an absolute sense. As if anything in this universe could exist only as one part of a duality. As if positive could exist without negative, as if hot could exist without cold. As if pleasure could exist without pain. As if we could experience any form at all, either our own existence experience here or the form of another, without a spectrum. And when you contemplate it, just the ideology, not as a meditation, but just from some kind of beginner's mind, look at this way that we are taught to believe. It's very violent. It's based on division, distrust, labeling, projecting, defining. Even when we go into, like good old Glastonbury, the goddess and the god and all of this, it's still incredibly authoritarian. Determining, deciding what's this and what's that. Very mental. And where's the experience, the living experience? What does female even feel like? What does male feel like? Not as a thought. At the moment we ask these questions, regardless of whether we're male or female, we can get some kind of a vibrational awareness within ourselves. We don't have to go and look for somebody with a briefcase and a nice suit to access what male feels like. And if we did, we would know what to look for by looking within ourselves for a particular vibration. These two are dancing together as a fundamental duality, born from wholeness. It's part of creation. Now, everywhere we look in nature, we see this dance of the duality of male and female, whether it's within an individual cell, whether it's in a plant, whether it's within an electron. Whether it's within an individual organism or whether it's within groups of organisms. The fundamental push and pull, action and reception, the speaking and hearing, the containing and the moving. So why is it that we need to so vigorously contract ourselves into one or the other? And in this lose any sense of wholeness, because the moment we're born, we're 50%. If we believe in gender as being an absolute division. And the other 50%, go figure. It's other. It's strange. It's a mystery. It's fearful. It's going to screw you over one way or another. It's going to hurt you. And it's this fundamental push-pull thing that happens between the genders. Like, I can't live without you and I can't live with you. I love you, I hate you. I can't. Come here, go away. I need you, I need you. I can do everything alone. Togetherness and separatism. And especially with humans who have this, judgmental mind thing going on, developing the mind. The self-conscious judgmental mind. We get extremely entangled and confused with all of this. The weaponization of experience in order to alienate each other, in order to make the other the stranger. Taking the fear or insecurity that we feel inside and using it to threaten the other. To blame the other. To make the other bad. So in many, many totalitarian regimes, what you see just before they fall is a big uprising of female power. Partly because the way that the people have been controlled has been to keep the genders separate, to keep them binary, to orchestrate it. Women go this way, men go that way. And at a certain moment, this basic, powerful drive towards wholeness, it just breaks through men and women. We are not half of a coin, one side of a coin. We are not one side of a coin. We are not just one-handed creatures. We're not only light or only darkness. Who says that we shouldn't speak? Who says that we shouldn't write poetry? Who says that we shouldn't do sewing when we were a little boy who's got a very refined sense of sewing? Who says? Who says what we should feel? Who says what we should experience? Who says what our sexuality is? Not just our gender, but how our sexuality feels and how our sexuality is sensing the world. Who decides that? The voice of fragmentation will say sexuality, sex, is an act that you do. And normally it's between a male and a female. Normally. Oi, 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 oi. It's like oi, vavoy, 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 layers of oi, vavoying going on there. And this is the state of the art. Because sexuality isn't a thing that we do. Sexuality is a means of perception. We can sense the sexual vibration or the atmosphere in a field without there being any physical creatures two-legged or four-legged within it. We can sense the sexual atmosphere of each other. It's literally part of the basis of our sensitivity, of how we can biochemically, but all the way through to the core of the miracle of our physicalness, feel the presence of each other. The atmosphere of each other. It's like the perfume of each other. Sexuality is a sense perception. Just like our eyes we use to see, our ears we use to hear. Just as we have the sense of touch, we have the sense of the sexual field. Otherwise, how do we know if we're attracted to somebody? Is it because the book says so? He's the right height. The app gives us him or her. The right height, the right income, the right color eyes, the right ethnicity. And then we say, okay, we've clicked all the boxes, so I must be attracted to them then. Let's make that happen and force the body into conformity with what the app says, or what the neighbors say, or what our mother says. Bill is a nice boy. You know? Why don't you start something with him? Just lie down in the bed and the bodies will take care of it. It's so dissociated. It's so very, very dissociated from our naturalness, our natural wholeness. So now you see, this is the oy va voy va voy va voy, because now we have got a split literally in the middle between our upper half and our lower half. What happened to the wholeness? You know, there's a myth that there are just 5 senses. The classical 5 senses: sound, smell, taste, touch, sight. I don't know if that's 5, but you know what I mean. And then come the anthroposophic movement, and they managed to identify something like 300 senses more. Harriet can tell me there's more than 300 senses. Like sense of time, sense of space, sense of egos, all kinds of senses, so many senses. And these are neurologically backed up. We have so many senses that can be categorized within our general sensory capacity, the sense of gravity. So many senses that aren't normally allowed really to be there. But it's very hard to find in those different expanded versions of our sensory ability, the sense of sexuality. We literally just censor it out. It's like, it's not there. You know, like everything else we can sense, but sexuality, we just blind spotted it because we are so divided from our naturalness, so taught to be so very, very afraid of intimacy. Afraid to admit that we sense each other all the time, that a whole group has a sexual atmosphere. And yet we know that. When you walk into a football stadium full of testosterone, whoa, 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 we can feel the testosterone, we can feel the sexual atmosphere. We know that it's there. But we've been taught not to acknowledge it, not to feel safe opening up to it, as if opening up our sensitivity to it, to sensing it, would mean that somehow we would get violated. So if we open up to wholeness, we'll be traumatized. It's a big threat, isn't it? It's similar to, like, if you open up to being yourself, you will be rejected. It's like one of these strong, harsh threats which groom us into being a certain way. And with sexuality, one of the ways it does that is to cut us between our upper half and our lower half. So when we're at the office, everything beneath the waist and beneath the navel is closed down. We are just head upwards, typing maybe a little bit of heart, want a cup of tea, love, but nothing else, as if. But then afterwards, when we go to the pub and we drink some alcohol, the pelvic can come online, and then all this civilized stuff can go to hell because now we're drunk. And the sexual sense can open. A total split, a division, a fragmentation between this part of ourselves and that part of ourselves. On Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we're Mother Teresa. On Thursdays and Fridays, we're eating donuts and doing other stuff. Sundays, we've asked for forgiveness, and Monday, we're back again as Mother Teresa. And still thinking that we are one whole, single, individual personality. But we are this thing which is tangible and can be found. So where do we find wholeness? We certainly have this drive to move towards wholeness. This is the sexual drive partly, but it's also the core of healing, to include that which has been left outside, that which has been traumatized, that experience which is not allowed to be. It will follow us, it will torment us, it will recreate itself in order to be allowed to be within the field of wholeness. But how can we help ourselves with this? Because we're all fragmented like crazy, traumatized collectively, epigenetically, individually, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, karmatically. Where do we find wholeness? When you really awaken and you see that there isn't even a personality, just bits and pieces of fragments of identity and emotion and patterns and habits that didn't even start with us, stress responses which seem to be from the collective, that with about things we get excited about things that we couldn't really care about, all kinds, such a mess. Just trying to look for it with the mind, we will not find wholeness. We'll find some kind of strange Picasso collage, upside down and back to front. So happily, wholeness is a quality of consciousness, and consciousness is here as the perceptive, alive ability to perceive anything at all in the here and now, through which any experience can happen. And when I say experience, I mean the subtle vibration of you being you is arising within consciousness. Before, it's like me being me as a woman. Oh dear, it just doesn't fit. Or me being me as a man, that's also odd. There is this consciousness. And then within this consciousness, there are the subtle vibrations where we have a sense of self. And maybe if we're able to really give space to our consciousness, which is already completely whole, because if we really go into our consciousness, it would be hard to say this is my consciousness and this is your consciousness. It's like I've got water in a cup and I say this is my water, but the water that you've got in your kettle, that's totally separate from this water. It's not the same, it's different, forever divided. But it's not, because if I go and pee and it goes up into the clouds and it rains on you, then you're going to be drinking this water tomorrow. Same with consciousness. It's not my separate consciousness. There is this wholeness of consciousness. And we know that when we sit together, when you sit with a friend, there's your consciousness, there's a consciousness of the friend, and there is the consciousness of the two of you. And all of it is just buckets of water, one water. And this is from the dimension of wholeness, where consciousness is, and through which we experience each other. And Bob Dylan said, will be part of your dream if you will be part of mine. So it's a little bit like that. We're in consciousness, there's one consciousness, and I appear as a dream in your consciousness, and you appear as a dream in my consciousness, but it's one consciousness where you and I are one, whole. Never was divided in an absolute sense, but is expressing through multiple forms. Male, female, small, large, trees, oceans, mountains, bunny rabbits. This makes a huge difference, because if we can rest back as consciousness, as true nature, in this dimension of wholeness, perceptive wholeness, sensory wholeness, then from here, this piece of myself, which is sitting in the office as being a very good secretary, bringing coffee for my boss, and this piece of myself that goes to the pub and gets drunk and gets up to all kinds of monkey business, which makes no sense to this piece of myself, they're still part of the wholeness. They don't have to be forced together. They don't have to be made into one autocratic unitary form, which is me. It becomes much more impressionistic, much more alive. It can come, it can go, it can change, it can evolve. I can be male, I can be female. I can speak with all the male qualities can come through me, all the female qualities can come through me, the same for everyone. The whole universe of resources, the male expression of care, the female expression of care. The female vibration of power, the male vibration of power. And everything in between. Everything is possible from across the universe is possible to express through this form. Maybe not with a baritone voice, but still it can move through. It can be experienced. It can be experienced this way, through and into the world, and it can be received from the world back into the source. Because We are not the personality. We are not a fragment. We are not the fragmentation. We don't have to decide which bit of the fragmentation we are. We don't have to cling to that thing which isn't really there in the first place. And even if it was there, wouldn't last because everything passes. There's a total relaxation from this place of fear, the fear of death, the fear of change, the fear of otherness, of the other. And then all of those things which have been used to terrorize us, to disconnect us from the wisdom of wholeness, from the direct experience of wholeness, all of those things, rather than being so frightening and so intimidating and so controlling, like death and alienation, rejection, the other sex, all of those things, they cease to be frightening, they cease to be monsters. When we're in that dimension of wholeness, they become curious. What would death feel like? Is it death or is it birth? Where do I go to when I die? After the ugly bit, where do I go to? Do I cease to exist, become one completely and totally with the great universal absence? Do I re-emerge? Where did I come from? We can be curious about those very things which have been used to taunt us, to make us small, to make us tiny, to make us believe that we're not free. We can be curious about gender. We can be curious about sexuality. We can be curious about intimacy. Because where sexuality is not allowed to be natural, as a felt sense, as a subtle vibration, as a force that moves through all things, we also lose our capacity to be intimate with life, our capacity to touch life, our capacity to experience each other. And so quickly we move into this defensive, embattled, fearful, hating, warmongering, alienating form, which kind of like a little bit like a golem, like a monster without a soul, got created through the wounds of all of us, but over which nobody's really responsible. This conditioned form of suffering. So wholeness is a big one, and everywhere where we are conscious, it is part of the wholeness. Everything we can be conscious of, even if it's following us like a little nightmare, if we can allow it into our consciousness, it becomes clear it was, is, and always will be a part of the wholeness, and we are much more the wholeness than that which could be threatened. Okay, I think I have to stop. So we take a 5-minute break and then we come back for the meditation.
So, welcome back, everybody. So, let's move into the guided meditation of today. So, if you could find a comfortable position, and when you found a comfortable position, just bring your attention to your physical body. Just take some time to sense what is going on in the physical body. And then, for sure, there are areas which are comfortable and areas which are a little bit less comfortable. Sensations. And just allow these sensations to be what they are. And then we bring our attention to where the body is supported by the chair, the couch, the mattress, or the floor. And try to surrender the body into this support, to relax the body into this support. Then I like you to connect with the sense of femininity. How do we experience the polarity of female? By connecting with the sense of femininity. Allow this vibration to be part of you. To blend with this vibration. And then I'd like you to connect with vibrations of femininity around yourself. In nature, animals, birds, the planet itself. Other human beings. Connect with the whole female field around ourselves, blending with that. Whatever is coming forward, allow it to come forward. And blending with this field of femininity. And then I'd like you to bring your attention, your awareness, your consciousness back to the physical body and where the physical body is supported by the chair, the couch, the floor, and the mattress. And just allow yourself to relax even more deeply into this support. And then I'd like you to connect with the sense of maleness. You experience male. The vibration of maleness. And just allow yourself to blend with this vibration of maleness. Maybe it's possible to blend with males around yourself, this vibration around yourself in nature, in animals, in birds, in the planet, and fellow human beings. And allow yourself to blend with this vibration. And allow whatever is coming forward, whatever is happening, to be as it is. And then I'd like you to bring your conscious awareness, your attention back to the physical body. And especially where this physical body is supported by the chair, the couch, the mattress, the floor, And just allow yourself to relax even deeper into this support. And then I like you to connect with your left hand. We are connecting with our left hand. And we connect with the vibration of femininity in our left hand. And maybe we can become aware how this vibration of femininity is connected with every cell in the body. And how this vibration is connected with the earth and nature around us. And then we bring our conscious awareness to our right hand. And we connect with the vibration of maleness, the energy of maleness in our right hand. And maybe it is possible to feel how this vibration is connected with every cell of your body. This vibration of maleness. And maybe it's also possible to feel how this vibration is connected with the vibration of maleness in the planet, nature, the animal kingdom. and our fellow human beings. And I'd like you to bring your conscious awareness to the space in between your hands. The left hand connected with the feminine vibration, and the right hand connected with the male vibration. And maybe you can feel the blend of both vibrations in between your hands. And connected with the blend, feeling both at the same time. And see how this vibration, blend between male and female, is connected with every cell of the body. And whatever is coming forward as an experience, just allow it to be there, to be what it is. And maybe it is possible to experience this vibration of the blend between male and female in the earth. And in nature, the animal kingdom, and the birds, And maybe it's possible to connect with this vibration in our fellow men and women. And then I'd like you to connect with the physical body again, and where the physical body is supported. By the chair, the couch, the mattress, and the floor. And just allow yourself to relax even deeper into this support. Okay, it's time to say goodbye to the people on the live stream. And thank you for being with us. And we hope to feel you, to experience you next week again, and have a wonderful, wonderful week. Bye. And we take a 5-minute break. And after 5 minutes, we come back for some sharing and questions. And of course, the peace meditation.